So, hallo, herzlich willkommen zurück zu Let's Play Zero Escape 999. Und ja, wir sind jetzt hier gerade, das Geräusch gerade eben, ich musste kurz was zur Seite schieben, was auf dem Boden stand, Entschuldigung. So, bequem hingesetzt, es kann losgehen.
Junpei, which door do you want?
Ja, wir sind nämlich jetzt hier bei den drei Türen 3, 7 und 8. Und das heißt, jetzt durch welche Tür wollen wir gehen? Wundert euch nicht, ich musste ein bisschen was wiederherstellen, aus irgendwas hat er gesponnen. Und darum ist jetzt komischerweise Tür 3 ausgegraut, weil ich das angeblich mal als Antwort gegeben habe. Es ist allerdings Blödsinn, spielt keine Rolle. Ich würfel jetzt, was ich für eine Tür wähle. Mit meinem guten alten Freund, dem 12-seitigen Würfel. Es ist eine 6, das heißt, ich wähle Tür 7.
I think I'm gonna go with door 7.
Oh, mir fällt gerade auf, ich bin im Adventure Screen. Irgendwas verpasst? At last Junpei's mind was already made up. Okay.
Okay, 7 it is. Yeah. All right then. That means June's got to go through 8.
What? Why?
What?
Sander grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain.
If the 6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it.
Ich rück mal kurz mein Mikro zur Seite. Es kann sich kurz komisch anhören. So. Plan A.
Have 3, 5, and 8 go through 7, and 4, 6, and 7 go through 8.
Plan B.
4, 5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8.
Plan C.
Or 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now?
As Sander finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes.
Oh no! You're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side, through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, steeled his resolve, and did his best to smile.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
She didn't sound very hopeful. It was 7 that interjected.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
Entschuldigung, jetzt hat mein Handy vibriert. Ach, wie in der letzten Folge, super. June said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance you could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Sander's voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 8 and Clover can take 7. Any problems with that, Clover?
Clover looked away and was silent for a moment.
Whatever.
It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
Alright, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
At Senna's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Clover, 7 and Junpei walked toward door 7. Sander, Lotus and June headed for door 8. For a long moment they stood in front of the door. 7 took a deep breath.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
It's open!
A narrow hallway stretched out before them. 7 and Clover leapt through the door.
Let's do this!
Hurry!
The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his right, toward door 8. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met. They nodded.
June.
Jumpy.
Their farewell took almost 1.5 seconds.
What the hell are you doing, Junpei?
Then someone took hold of Junpei's arm and hauled him boldly through the door. Nee, bodily through the door. Entschuldigung. Jetzt habe ich das einfach falsch gelesen. Sorry. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep.
Only 81 seconds left! No time to waste, guys! Let's get moving!
7 led the way down the hallway. Junpei and Clover followed him as fast as they could. After what seemed like far more than 81 seconds, they reached the end of the hall.
Look! The door on the left! I can see the dead!
There was no time to rest or catch their breath. All 3 slammed their hands in quick succession over the scanner panel of the dead. Still trying to catch his breath, 7 leaned heavily against the wall.
It stopped. It stopped.
His smile seemed forced and a little crooked.
This is the second time we've gone through one of these numbered doors, but... Whew, you never really get used to it.
He stood up straight, no longer out of breath, and wiped some of the sweat from his head and neck. Clover smirked at him.
I would have thought a guy your size would have bigger balls than that.
What? What the hell did you just say? Say it again! I dare you!
You have no...
You little... You wanna die?!
I'd like to see you try.
Oh Mann. Clover ist aber gerade richtig auf Krawall gebürstet.
You fucking brat! Alright, let's go!
Hey, calm down, guys. This isn't the time for this. It's not gonna do us any good.
Junpei sighed. Sometimes he wondered if the doors and the puzzles were really the greatest challenge they faced.
Wait here for a minute, alright? I'm gonna go see if there are any other doors.
They didn't respond, but Junpei wasn't in the mood for a conversation anyway.
We just came through this door. And of course it's shut tight. There's a short hallway on the left here. And an iron wall. I doubt I can get through it.
At last he gave up and returned to 7, who was tapping lightly on the wooden door.
This door's the only option we've got, right?
Yeah, looks like it.
Hey, something's written on the door. On that iron plate.
It says operating room. If this thing's telling the truth, there could be body parts inside here.
Well, this is probably not going to be pleasant.
Something about it made Junpei feel nervous.
Well, there's no point to standing around. Might as well go in and see what's waiting for us.
Seven grabbed the brass knob and slowly opened the door. The creak of the hinge sounded like the groan of an old woman.
What's wrong?
No, it's nothing.
A chill sneaked its way down Junpei's spine.
Let's just go.
Quickly he gathered what courage he could and took the first step into the room. Seven followed, with Clover right behind him.
Huh?
Part of the room just past the door was obscured by a screen.
What the hell is this?
Why don't we take a look?
Hey, Clover!
Clover's curiosity got the better of her, and she darted past Junpei to peer around the screen. The scream nearly blew out Junpei's eardrums.
What?
Clover!
He and Seven ran toward Clover to see what had frightened her.
Hey, what's wrong?
They rounded the screen and the cause of her outburst. They rounded the screen and the cause of her outburst was immediately clear.
What the hell is this?
Is this a corpse?
It was something that looked kind of like a human, lying across some sort of bed. Not a bed. An operating table. The table sat on a rusty steel lift, and a cluster of bright operating lights shone down on it from the ceiling.
We should probably take a closer look.
Yeah.
Slowly they approached. As they got closer to the body, it became clear that it wasn't a body at all.
This is...
What the hell? That's just a huge doll or something.
Doll?
Clover did not look terribly comforted. Slowly she approached the operating table and looked as intently as possible, from as far away as possible, at the thing. Junpei could see her relax.
You're right. It's only a doll. Man, it really scared me.
Boah, mein Handy hört echt nicht auf zu vibrieren. Was ist das für eine Scheiße? Entschuldigung. She heaved a great sigh of relief and wiped a few drops of sweat from her forehead. Seven smirked.
Well, I guess it would have been weird if you actually had any balls.
Schöner Konter zu vorher.
Shut it! Don't you start with me, fatty!
Oh, what's this? You want a piece of me, short stuff?
Yeah, bring it on, you whale!
Hey, guys, not again, okay? Seriously, knock it off. Jeez. Anyway, it looks like he's got something the two of you could stand to have a little more of. I'm talking about a heart.
Huh? Oh, this? You mean on his chest?
Yeah.
It was set a little higher than normal for a human body, but from the shape of the organ, there could be no doubt that it was a heart.
Why would there be a heart in a doll?
I don't think it's a doll.
You think maybe it's like a medical mannequin or something?
Or maybe it's got more personal uses?
Seven's grin was more than a little perverted. Clover glared at him.
Anyway, how about we take a look around this place? Let's go.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Jo, und damit kommen wir in den Escape Room an. Seek a way out. So, was haben wir?
Hey, I wonder what this thing is. It says KG on the display.
You think maybe it's a scale? Ich meine, diesmal haben die Charaktere alle sehr unterschiedliche Stimmen, das kann ich gut machen. Huh? There's some sort of lid on this thing.
Why don't you try opening it?
Can't, there's no handle. I can't get under it with my nails either.
These dolls are these dolls are really kinda creepy, you know?
Hey, it says something here. John.
You think that's this doll's name?
Maybe.
This thing's creepy.
I wonder why it's on the bed. A creepy medical mannequin is lying on the bed. Apparently his name is John. Was haben wir denn hier? Oh, das ist ein bisschen unheimlicher.
Another medical mannequin?
From the looks of it, this one's a chick.
She has a name too.
Lucy. Poor thing. Looks like Miss Lucy only has a head and a left arm.
Maybe we're supposed to gather all her parts.
Ja, okay, was haben wir hier?
They use these for surgery, right? Let's see. Syringes, cups, a plate. There's a sort of scissorish thingy.
Ja, kosher forceps.
Aren't those scissors? They look kind of funny.
No, that's probably a pair of... Ich weiß nicht, wie das genau im Englischen aussprechen. Kosher forceps? Irgendwie sowas. Surgeons use them during operations. They can hold blood vessels shut and keep tissue out of the way. We can use it to pull stuff out of small holes or something like that. Bunch of surgical tools. What's this thing? It's got these short iron legs.
Maybe it's a heater.
There's nothing inside it. Was haben wir denn da? Einen Torso.
Ew, that's gross.
There's the chest. It's a woman's chest. The heart's gone, but it's pretty hard.
If that kind of thing turns you on, 7, you're a real creepo.
Ja, das ist wirklich ein bisschen, naja. Chest of a medical mannequin. There's a hole in the left side of the chest.
Maybe you're supposed to heat something like that gauze to kill the bacteria? There's a boiling thingy over there.
There's nothing on the lid or in the drawers. There are a whole bunch of bottles on the shelves. They all look like medicine. They've got labels, but they're all big, medical words that I don't understand. There's a lot of different kinds of medication. It's hard to tell them apart.
That's a lot of medicine.
I wonder if one of these is a laxative. Wer es nicht weiß, laxative ist ein Abführmittel. Yeah, it sounds kinda gross, but I'm pretty sure every one of us has had the same idea. If we had some laxatives, maybe we could crap out the bombs they were put in us. Unfortunately, damn it. I don't know what medicine does what medicine does what here.
The drawer is empty.
Ja, nothing here. Ja, sonst? Was haben wir denn hier? Medical mannequin with its guts showing.
Ooh, gross.
Hey Junpei, there's a slit in this thing's chest. Yeah, sure is. There's something in there. Maybe we can get it out. Damn it! Stinking thing won't budge. It's stuck.
Well, I guess you can't use force on this one then. We need something small that can fit into that little hole.
Dann haben wir doch das Perfekte. Fake organ.
So it took the organ thing out of the chest thingy.
It's a lung, not an organ thingy.
Huh? This part here on the back, it's all rubbery.
You're right. So it's a fake organ, of course it'll be... Wait, what's 7 grabbing it for? Hey, it feels like there's something in there.
You think we can cut through the rubber part?
Okay, wenn wir irgendwas zum Schneiden haben, gerne. The chest of the medical mannequin. A mannequin. One of the organs is missing. The organ is...
Oregon?
Oh nein. Really, Clover, I expected more from you.
Oh, like you could do better.
Ich bin ja selbst ein Freund von Wortspielen, aber das...
That's a lot of surgery stuff.
There's some scalpels, a few pairs of forceps, and a couple of syringes. All of it's too rusty to be useful, though.
Yeah, there's a scalpel that looks new.
Jetzt haben wir ein Skalpell. Ja gut, das sieht trotzdem blutig aus. A scalpel that's not rusty.
Seems like it was put here for a reason.
Ach nee, Entschuldigung, das war Junpei. Seems like it was put here for a reason, huh?
You think it's telling us to cut something?
Yeah, I do. Let's try cutting this organ with a scalpel. Ein Schlüssel.
There's a key in this organ.
Found a key in an internal organ. Das hat jetzt was von Saw. Just a wooden partition. Nothing special about it. Gut, ich glaube, hier finden wir direkt erstmal noch nichts weiteres, aber man kann hier rausgehen. Awesome, it's unlocked. Ach, der Schlüssel war für den Chemikalienraum.
Junpei, there's a bottle of iron powder on the shelf.
How do you know it's iron?
The label says FE. FE stands for iron, right? Hey Junpei, you think there are any slugs on this ship?
Huh?
Well, if there are, I was thinking we could put salt on them.
What's she pointing at? The label states NaCl. Natriumchlorid. Salt, huh?
Do you think Seven will shrivel up if we put it on him?
Hey, you say something? There's a bottle of salt on the shelf. The label says NaCl. No.
Something stinks.
Is it coming from this bottle? It says NH3. Well, that of course stinks. It's ammonia. Ja, Ammoniak. Das Zeug stinkt höllisch. There's a bottle of ammonia on the shelf. It says NH3 on the label. Hey Junpei! There's dihydrogen monoxide on the shelf. Super gag. Why don't you just say water? There's a bottle of water on the shelf. The label says H2O. What's this? Looks like a can with a spray nozzle. It says CO2. So it's a can filled with carbon dioxide. Also, ja, Kohlenstoffdioxid. There's a canister of carbon dioxide on the shelf. The label says CO2. Können wir jetzt noch so? A rectangular table. I wonder, did people mix medicine on this thing? Hier haben wir jetzt ein sehr interessantes Rätsel. There's a note on top of the table. Iron equals 1, salt equals 2, water equals 3. Carbon dioxide, ammonia, ethanol.
What do you think this is a hint for?
Maybe it's got something to do with this box. Ja, das ist ein Rätsel, da muss man so ein bisschen, ich sag mal... Ja, es ist nicht wirklich so schwierig. Ich glaube, ich habe irgendwo noch was vergessen. Ja. Ja, jetzt kommen die Tipps. Das wollte ich jetzt überspringen, weil... Blödsinn. Also, ich glaube, irgendwo gibt es auch noch eine andere Flasche, die ich übersehen habe. Egal, spielt keine große Rolle. Also Eisen gleich 1, Salz gleich 2, Wasser gleich 3. Was soll das heißen? Eisen hat ein Atom. Fe. Fertig. Salz besteht aus 2 Atomen. Nämlich Natriumchlorid. Ich muss sagen, es ist streng genommen kein Molekülsalz, weil es halt ein Salz eine Kristallstruktur, ein Gitter bildet. Aber ja, 2. Wasser hat 3 Atome. H2O entsprechend. Jetzt sehen wir CO2 bei Carbon Dioxide, also Kohlenstoffdioxid, 3. Ammoniak, NH3 sind 4. Und Ethanol, warte, C2H5OH. Das sind, Moment, C2H5 sind wir bei 7, OH kommen nochmal 2 drauf, sind wir bei 9, ja. Das heißt 3, 4, 9 müsste die Kombination sein. The box is locked. Looks like you have to enter a passcode on the keypad to open it. I can only enter 3 numbers. E is for enter, C is for clear. Once you input the numbers, press E. If you mess up, press C. Let's give it a shot. Wie gesagt, 3, 4 und 9. Fake Heart. A Heart. Ach nee, schon, Clover.
A heart? This thing is super creepy.
This ain't good for the heart. Fake right arm.
It's the right arm of the body. It's kinda creepy.
Blue liquid.
It looks like there's something inside that bottle.
Why don't you try pouring some out of the cap into the cap? Can't see any reason why not.
What's that? It's bright blue. Do you think it's alien blood?
Where the hell did that come from?
Then what do you think it is, Seven?
I don't know, some sort of special bath soap?
What a boring guess.
A bottle with blue liquid in it. Ja, klar. So, was haben wir hier noch? Red liquid.
It looks like there's something inside that bottle.
Why don't you try pouring some out into the cap? Can't see any reason why not.
What's this? It's bright red. Do you think it's blood?
No, blood's thicker than that.
Then what is it?
Beats me. Wir haben jetzt also zwei rote, also eine rote und eine blaue Farbe. Können wir kombinieren? Nö. So. Können wir eigentlich gehen, oder? Ach,
You think we should go back?
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized that Seven wasn't following suit.
Hey, Seven, what's up?
Oh, well,
He looked up at Junpei distractedly, and then back down at the brown bottle he held cupped in his large hands.
Is that a medicine bottle?
I got curious about it. Here,
In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He caught it and twisted it around to read the label.
Ethylene diamine tartrate?
yeah, that's right. CDT.
What kind of medicine is that?
It's not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent.
Why would they have something like that here?
Well, probably to clean stuff up.
Clean what up?
Fuck if I know. Still, it looks like it's cleaned my brain up.
Junpei looked up from the bottle.
What, you remember something?
Yeah.
Der hatte ja eine Amnesie. Vielleicht hat er jetzt ein paar interessante Informationen. Seven nodded slowly and spoke.
Well, I remember a story about EDT. Happened about 50 years ago. There was this factory somewhere in America making big old EDT crystals. They were making it to sell as an industrial strength cleaner, like I told you before. But a year after the factory started up, something strange started happening with the crystals they were building. Water molecules started attaching themselves to the EDT crystals. This made them into a sort of mutation of the original crystals, called a hydrate.
Ja, das ist eine Sache, die einige Kristallstrukturen gerne machen. Also zum Beispiel Kupfersulfat ist ein sehr berühmtes Beispiel. Das gibt es halt auch als sogenanntes Kupfervitriol, was eigentlich auch nichts anderes ist. Das ist rein weiß. Sobald aber Wasser in die Nähe kommt, lagern sich Wassermoleküle in die Kristallstruktur ein und das Ganze wird blau.
Once the crystals turn into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals. As a hydrate, they were useless. But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in EDT factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near that first American factory. They'd been making crystals the same way, with the same materials and the same equipment and environment.
Eigentlich darf man einfach nur kein Wasser in die Nähe lassen, während das passiert. Auch möglichst die trockenste Luft überhaupt, die da sein kann, dann geht's. Und bei einigen Kristallen kann man sogar durch Hitze das Wasser wieder rausholen. Ich weiß nicht, wie es bei diesem EDT ist. Da es ein Tartrat ist, es vielleicht nicht so hitzestabil.
But now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they formed turned into a hydrate.
Ist, glaube ich, auch eine fiktive Geschichte, wenn man mal ehrlich ist.
In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure EDT crystal. Even in EDT research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. But after it happened at the first factory, it just spread. It was like, man, how do you say it?
like the molecules were communicating with one another, transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive.
Wer aufgepasst hat, das ist eine Unterhaltung, die auf einer gewissen Stelle aufbaut, die wir vorher hatten. Nämlich diese Sache mit dem morphogenetischen Feld. Wurde ja erwähnt. Und auch anderen Sachen. Also das alles baut gerade aufeinander auf, weil wir bestimmte Türen vorher oder eine bestimmte Tür genommen haben und bestimmte Gespräche geführt haben.
This phenomena spread throughout the world, right?
Junpei looked up at Seven with half a smirk. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's it exactly. But how did you know?
I heard another story, kind of like that one.
Ich hab's gesagt.
When?
In the freezer?
What? The freezer?
Yeah, June told me.
Junpei told Seven the story he had heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerin began to crystallize. And the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin.
Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh?
That sounds familiar?
Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there.
Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space, as if he were trying desperately to focus on something far away.
Do you?
So, jetzt können wir sagen, know something about it oder know about Ice 9. Und das ist jetzt die richtige Sache, wenn man einen bestimmten Story-Check machen möchte.
Do you know about Ice 9?
Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9. Ice.
Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open.
That's it. I remember now. That woman, she's on this boat.
That woman?
Alice!
Who's Alice?
Come on, the woman who won't melt at room temperature.
Huh?
It became clear to Seven that Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his hand across his face and took a deep breath.
You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right?
Yeah, more than 1,500 people died. Worst maritime accident in history. What about it?
Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies?
I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right? It was a cruise liner, just like the Titanic.
No, that was the ship that picked up the survivors. The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS McKay Bennett. The McKay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. It set out from Halifax, a port in Canada, and recovered 306 bodies. The Atlantic that far north was really cold. It would have to be for there to be icebergs and stuff. Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the water were frozen solid.
This isn't a very nice story. So, what happened next?
Well, they say the McKay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies. There were various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff that dislodged as the ship sank. One of the things they found was a coffin.
A coffin?
Yeah, a wooden one. The craftsman who made it must have been pretty skilled. It wasn't just a wooden coffin. It was all wood, no nails, no reinforcements, no gaps in the wood anywhere. The thing was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it and opened it up. They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside, they found a woman. Or, I guess you should say, they found the dead body of a woman. Her hair was thick and black, and her skin rich brown with no blemishes or signs of decomposition. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she just looked like she was sleeping. Her skin was so lifelike, she looked like she might wake up any minute. And she didn't, though. Like the rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid. Eventually, the McKay Bennett finished searching and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to thaw. They say that the stink was horrible. But there was one body that didn't thaw. And that was...
The girl in the coffin!
That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. Then a month passed, and another. And it was summer, and she was still frozen solid. After a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about her started to spread. People came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice. Alice. Of course, those rumors didn't last long.
Why?
Well, she up and disappeared. One day Alice was there, the next day she wasn't. They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body. With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly. After a while, no one remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it.
Wait, you just said that she was on this boat.
Yeah, I did. Alice has got to be somewhere on this ship.
Now why the hell would you say something like that?
Because I know.
And just what is it you know?
What happened to Alice after she was stolen?
Junpei gulped.
Alright, tell me. What happened to Alice?
Seven nodded slowly and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried.
Well, around that time, the word was that there was a special black market in New York. All millionaires from all over the world. I've heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Gordain. You've heard that name before, right?
Lord Gordain. Oh, isn't he the guy who bought the Gigantic? The Titanic's sister ship?
Yeah, that's him. Although I guess he hadn't done that yet.
What do you mean?
Gordain bought Alice in 1912. And 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. He died in 1931. And apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. However,
what?
Well, he did have one close friend who asked him, "Where is Alice?" And he said, "Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic."
What the hell is that? Is it some kind of riddle?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Seven threw his hands up in defeat.
So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship.
Wenn wir uns wirklich auf der Gigantic befinden. Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim, as Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next, Clover's shrill voice pierced the room.
Hey! What are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time and get over here!
Okay, we're coming.
Jeez!
Seven looked at Junpei.
Yeah, so anyway, that's the story. It might be useful someday. Don't forget it.
With that cryptic remark, he turned and left the room.
Alice. Huh.
Junpei was left behind to ponder what he just heard. He tried to remember what June had told him earlier.
That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. They say that she was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic. Even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
Then was that Egyptian priestess Alice? Did the water in her body become Ice 9? No, that's nuts. There's no way somebody like that could exist.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting. Ja, man kann aber sonst noch hier irgendwo rein, nämlich hier, oder?
Junpei, where are you going?
That's the door we came through.
The only thing out there is the numbered door.
I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you that the numbered door is a one-way deal. So? You're saying there's no point in to going back there, huh? And they're nodding. Awesome. Auf jeden Fall hatten wir jetzt gerade eine lange Unterbrechung, kann man sagen. Schauen wir uns mal um. Gibt es noch irgendwas anderes hier, wo es... Ich meine, es gab noch andere Wege. Können wir hier lang? Ja, genau. Preparation Room. Oder nee. It's locked. Wir brauchen dafür also einen Schlüssel. Cool, it's unlocked. Was haben wir hier? Let's see. A piece of paper. What's this? Is this some kind of medical record? New material has been added to the file screen. Ja, bei File haben wir jetzt eine ganze Menge anderen Kram. Medical record. Medical record found in the preparation room. It has records for the two mannequins. There's a male mannequin named John and a female named Lucy. The record shows each mannequin's total weight and the weight of their individual parts. So. Wie schwer die einzelnen Teile sind. Ah, Moment. It's locked. It won't even budge.
Do you think this is the exit?
There's a symbol engraved over the keyhole.
Hey, this is a Jupiter symbol.
Hey, wasn't this Jupiter symbol engraved by the keyhole in the other door? Other door?
The door at the end of the hallway with all those rooms.
You think maybe this door and that door used the same key?
Maybe?
Ja, interessante Idee. Was haben wir hier?
It won't open. Looks like it's locked. There's a red plate on it. Do you think that means something?
Damn, it's not opening. Locked, of course. The blue plate here seems a little suspicious, though. Damn, it's not opening. Won't even budge. It's got this purple plate on it, too. Sink. The doctors and nurses probably washed their hands here before an operation. Nothing suspicious here. So, was können wir hier machen? Ah, jetzt haben wir Licht.
The white light on the top is glowing.
Yeah, but the red, blue and purple ones still aren't lit. Ja, das können wir ändern. Wir haben nämlich hier zum Beispiel blaue Farbe. Hey, the blue light turned on.
And I heard a noise. It sounded like something unlocking.
Das können wir jetzt nämlich umsehen. Zack. Ist hier offen. Fake left leg. This is the left foot of the mannequin. Entschuldigung, Clover.
Do you think I'm better?
What?
Do you think my legs are skinnier?
Wie gesagt, Clover wirkt zwar vom Aussehen her relativ kindlich, aber die ist 18. Red liquid.
The red light's on now.
I think I heard another noise. Fake right leg. The right foot of the medical mannequin. I guess it's a woman's foot, but damn, doesn't look hot at all.
Have you got a thing for feet, Seven?
No, that's crazy.
You're sure acting kinda shady.
Ja, aber möchte ich kurz anmerken, Tarantino beispielsweise ist ja dafür bekannt, dass er einen Fußfetisch hat, also der Regisseur. Darum gibt es eigentlich in jedem Film von dem immer mindestens eine Szene, in der man von irgendeiner Frau die Füße in Nahaufnahme betrachtet. Meist Uma Thurman. I get it. You combine the red liquid with the blue liquid to make a purple one.
Good job, Junpei. The purple light came on and I heard it unlock. I'm sure it's unlocked. The locker with the purple plate has gotta be unlocked.
Alright, let's see what happened. Wahrscheinlich. Fertig. Oh. Fake stomach. This is really... Ah, Entschuldigung. Jetzt fange ich schon an, Clover mit Sevens Stimme zu sprechen.
There's a really big nose.
That's no nose. It's a stomach.
Oh. A stomach.
Ja, es sieht wirklich so ein bisschen nasenmäßig aus, aber nein, es ist der untere Teil des Torsos. Das ist der Bauch. So, jetzt haben wir hier alles, was wir brauchen. Auf der falschen Tür. Und... Was? So. Jetzt können wir nämlich Lucy zusammensetzen, möchte ich mal behaupten. This bed doesn't look very comfortable. Okay. So we've collected the 6 parts of the medical mannequin. So the ones we've got must be for Lucy, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. Well, I say we give Lucy her parts back. Any objections?
Nope.
Agreed. Alright, let's get started. Combine!
Hey, nothing happened.
That's odd. Maybe it's the wrong weight?
Wait?
Yeah, well, you know there's a scale on the side of the bed. Maybe we need to get the scale to a specific number. How are we gonna do that? I think we're supposed to swap her body parts with John's.
Oh,
Let's give it a shot. Operating instructions. The screen will display 2 medical mannequins. You can switch their body parts by selecting the part you want to switch out. Ich kann ehrlich sagen, hier ist wichtig, dass man eigentlich alles austauscht. Obwohl ich weiß nicht, ob das Herz dazu gehört. Ja, das Herz nicht, aber sonst alles. Hey Junpei, I just heard something. It came from John's operating table. We better check it out. Ich drehe mich natürlich in die komplett falsche Richtung. Huh? The lid on the scale. Hey, it opened! Oh, I get it. It must have opened because we matched John's weight to what was on the chart. To what's on the chart, Entschuldigung. There's something on the part that's sticking out. Jupiter key! Hey! The symbol engraved in that key. Isn't it the Jupiter symbol? Then that means... Habe ich denn immer noch das... Oh, jetzt habe ich ein violettes Liquid. Damit können wir wohl weg. Hier hin. Und raus geht's.
Hey, hold on.
Junpei stopped, about to put the key into the doorknob.
Oh, what's up?
Where's Clover?
Huh?
Junpei turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, god damn it. Where the hell did she go? Okay, just hold on a minute. I'll go get her.
Sure thing.
Junpei left Seven at the door and headed back to the operating room. He found her, standing next to the operating table. She was staring at the mannequin.
Hey, Clover, what's wrong? Come on, let's get out of here.
She didn't respond. If she hadn't been standing up and breathing, Junpei might have thought she was dead.
What are you doing? Did you want to come back here and say goodbye to John?
It wasn't the best joke, but it was something. An attempt to lighten the mood. Clover didn't laugh. She stood stock still and said nothing.
Hey, Clover, can you hear me?
Perhaps it was something he'd said, or perhaps it was something else. Suddenly her mouth opened and she whispered in a dry, dead voice.
My brother might be dead.
Huh?
That's why we couldn't find him. If he's dead, I'm going to be next.
Suddenly the operating room felt very, very cold.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
He gave her a small shake, but she still didn't respond. The silence grew heavier. Junpei, what do you want to do? So, wir können jetzt entweder sagen, wir müssen abhauen, oder wir können ihr das hier geben. Das geht aber natürlich nur, wenn wir es vorher von Santa angenommen haben. Das ist jetzt eine wichtige Sache, müssen wir auch storytechnisch machen.
Oh yeah.
He didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier.
It's in my pocket somewhere. Here it is.
He reached into his pocket and dug it out.
A 4-leaf clover.
Santa had given it to him in the second classroom. He held it out to Clover.
Hey, did you know? Each leaf means something. Hope, faith, love, and luck. That's what a four-leaf clover stands for. Take it. Use it as a good luck charm.
He pressed the four-leaf clover into her hand.
Listen to me, Clover. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck. Snake, I mean, your brother, he's not dead. He's alive, somewhere. I'm sure of it. You've just gotta believe in that.
Clover stared at the four-leaf clover in her hand. He could see tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
Thank you.
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Her tears made small wet circles on the floor.
Thank you.
She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smile he could manage.
Come on, Seven's waiting for us at the exit.
But still she didn't move.
Wait, before we go, there's one thing I want to ask you.
What's that?
What do you think when you hear the word experiment?
For a moment his mind froze. Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him aside from the dictionary definition.
What?
Oh. I guess it was just a coincidence then. I mean, that you knew about the four-leaf clover.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk, but you are making less than no sense right now.
Das ist eine sehr interessante Stelle, würde ich sagen. Man muss bei diesem Spiel teilweise so ein bisschen darauf achten. Es wird sehr viel auf Sachen hingewiesen, bevor es eigentlich dann richtig einem ins Gesicht geklatscht wird manchmal. Und hier ist das mehr so was Subtiles.
Oh, no. It's nothing. Just forget about it.
Oh, don't give me that. You really think I could just drop this? What is this experiment you were talking about?
Clover looked away. The four-leaf clover was still in her hand. She stared at it for a long moment and then finally spoke.
You promise you won't tell anyone?
Cross my heart.
Really?
Really?
I can trust you, right?
Of course you can.
Clover slipped the four-leaf clover into her pocket. Her eyes still red from crying, she looked up at Junpei.
Okay then, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened on this ship 9 years ago.
Wait. On this ship?
Yeah, this ship.
He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best he thought to save them until Clover had finished.
It was an experiment to test some sort of psychic thing. Communicating through these fields that you can't see.
Fields that you can't see?
He'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
Like, think about this.
She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with another mannequin.
This is John, right? But is he really John?
Huh?
All Junpei could think was, she has finally completely lost it.
Isn't this like Locke's socks? Or the ship of Theseus?
Junpei grew even more confused. He'd never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart.
You don't know? You haven't heard of those paradoxes?
No?
Junpei shook his head.
Really?
Clover laughed.
Okay, well pay attention then. This is how Locke's socks works. Let's say I've got a pair of socks. They're my favorite socks. One of them gets a hole in it. What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei?
Da können wir jetzt... Ich würfel mal aus. Ja, 4. Patch it up.
Well, I guess I'd patch it up, get some cloth, and close up the hole.
But what if another hole opens?
I'd add another patch, I suppose.
What if another hole opened after that?
Another patch, I guess?
Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches. Until eventually, the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. Once you get to that point, can you really say they're the same socks you started with?
Well, that's tough.
Darum ist es ja auch ein Paradoxon. Beziehungsweise eigentlich ist es mehr ein logisches oder ein Definitionsproblem. Junpei crossed his arms.
So, that's the locked socks thing?
Yeah, the ship of Theseus is a lot like it. The ship of Theseus. If you keep fixing the damaged parts of a ship, eventually it ends up with none of the parts it started with. Can you really say that ship is the same one you started with? And what if you took all the old parts from the first ship and built another one somewhere else? Then which ship is the real ship of Theseus? The one you repaired, or the one you built with all the original parts?
Das ist eine Sache, die ich sehr interessant finde. Was ist das echte, was ist das richtige, originale Schiff? Da merkt man mal wieder, die Definitionssache ist eine komische. Ich finde es aber auch sehr interessant, wenn man sagt, zum Beispiel, jetzt nehmen wir an, du hast Sandkörner und packst immer, also und machst quasi, ja, du nimmst die einzelnen Sandkörner und ja, schichtest die aufeinander, sage ich mal. Ab wie viel Körnern hast du einen Haufen? Ist auch lustig. Also, es ist einfach so, dass man den Zusammenschluss von Einzelteilen als ein Ganzes begreift. Und damit, also, den Irrsinn dahinter zeigen diese Paradoxa eigentlich. Natürlich, jetzt will mein Handy wieder was. It was an interesting question. Clover could see Junpei was intrigued.
Hey, do you think it's the same?
What's the same?
These guys. Is this John, or is it Lucy now?
Junpei looked at the operating table again. A mannequin full of body parts from a different body. Clover had been right. It was just like Locke's socks and the ship of Theseus. The part of the body that holds a person's identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom had held that a man's identity resided in his heart, or any of a number of internal organs. And here they had both.
John's head and heart are both his. But apart from those, and a single arm, the rest of his body was once Lucy's.
Was that mannequin really John?
We're just like these mannequins.
She looked at Junpei again.
Think about it. The cells in our body change every day. Old ones die and new ones are born. Maybe part of my arm is made of stuff from a fish I ate once. Or maybe part of your right side is made from a cow you ate. If you take it a little further, those cows and fishes are made from something else too, right? That's how we're all connected. Through fields that can't be seen with the naked eye.
The silence was broken by Seven.
Hey, what the hell is taking you two so long?
Seven's head appeared in the doorway. He was not happy.
How long are you gonna make me wait? We don't have time to screw around.
Junpei and Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of Seven. Seven seemed to catch on.
Oh? What were you two doing? Was this some sort of secret meeting?
No, it wasn't. We were just
Just...
playing with the mannequins.
Huh?
Let's go, Junpei.
Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. Seven stared after her, then turned to Junpei with an amused expression.
Playing with mannequins, huh? Didn't know you were into that kind of thing, Junpei.
Ich finde die Stelle schön.
You're a dick.
Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out of the door. With a short laugh, Seven followed. They stood in front of the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key.
Alright, I'm gonna open it now. Is that cool?
You don't need to keep asking, just do it, alright?
Fine then.
He slid the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt it unlock. The door opened with a soft, melancholy creak. Beyond it lay a simple, white hallway. There was no fanfare or confetti. Obviously, there was no one there. There was no one there to applaud them. They simply walked through the door. That was it.
Alright, let's get going.
Hey man, what's up with you? You're so serious, you know? Can't you sound more happy, you know, get a little excited?
Not really.
Junpei turned away from Seven and took his first step down the simple white hallway.
My brother might be dead. I'm going to be next.
Clover had told him only a few minutes before that her brother was probably dead, and she was likely to follow him.
Like hell I can. Not after hearing something like that.
Damit haben wir den Ausgang gefunden. Ach ja. Die Escape Room Folgen sind immer etwas lang. Aber hier mache ich dann auch einen Schnitt. Gehen Schritte ewig weiter. Klingt so. Moment. Speicherbildschirm. Ihr könnt zumindest schon mal speichern. Macht keinen Unterschied. Aber ich hoffe jedenfalls, euch gefällt das weiter. Lasst mir eure Meinung zu den Charakteren und was wir so gehört haben. Und ja, was hat sich denn vor 9 Jahren auf diesem Spiel auf diesem Schiff abgespielt? Auf diesem Spiel abgeschifft. Super. Sind wir überhaupt auf der Gigantic? Ist ja auch die Frage. Und was für ein Experiment war das, wovon uns Clover erzählen wollte? Was hat es mit Seven auf sich, der jetzt einen Teil seiner Erinnerungen wiedergekriegt hat? Warum weiß der von Alice oder was auch immer das war? Das ist also er sagt Zeitungsartikel oder sowas, aber ist das alles? Schreibt eure Gedanken einfach in die Kommentare. Theorien und sowas immer gern gesehen. Und ja, dann verabschiede ich mich für diese Folge. Lasst ein Däumchen da, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Cheerio!